What is up, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-hosts, Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
So look, we're going it's a big show, which is not normal for us in December. It's usually the dregs of the gaming news sphere. But we're going off book a little bit today because we were going to talk about Cyberpunk up front with our impressions, but it doesn't make a lot of sense to talk about Cyberpunk, our impressions, without also talking about everything else going on around Cyberpunk, because it has dominated the news cycle for the past week or so, with a lot of controversy and a lot of stuff going on that we should discuss. But first, Micah and I have both been playing it. There won't be any spoilers in our impressions that we're giving here, so don't worry about that. Micah, I'm not sure where you are. I have not gotten to play it as much as I would have liked to, because I've had some other stuff going on that's kept me distracted. I have finished the prologue, basically.
Oh, that's it?
I've done the mission in Nakatomi Plaza, and then and you know, everything that happens after that, essentially.
Do you have a vehicle?
Yeah, I have a car.
Were you given a vehicle?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm further along than you are.
Okay.
And what do you think about this game?
It's fine so far. It's kind of hard because I'm still in very much the build up, right? Like, this game has a very long prologue, as it seems like most, 60, 70 hour RPGs do anymore nowadays. Like, Assassin's Creed had the same fucking thing. So I haven't really gotten a feel for it yet. First person open world role-playing games are usually not my preferred genre of game. Mm-hmm. I've never had much success with, like, the Fallout franchise, for example, or Elder Scrolls or things of that nature. But I like the world in this one so far, and I'm enjoying the setting. It's not nearly as Blade Runner-y type of Cyberpunk as I was hoping for.
Yeah.
It's much more of it's almost weird to call it like a contemporary Cyberpunk, which is a term that really doesn't make any sense, but you understand what I'm trying to say. It's more of a evolution of the world that we currently live in.
Yeah, it feels like it's maybe 50 years into the future.
Right.
Whereas I was expecting like a little more grit, a little more grime.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting Night City to be kind of dirty. When in actuality, and look, well, I'm playing on an Xbox Series X. You're playing on a PlayStation 5.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it on Xbox One because I still have my day one Xbox One.
Curiosities.
Yeah. One, I wanted to see how smart delivery is.
Right.
Smart delivery, pretty awesome, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a quick sync and you're right there. And then I played Cyberpunk on a day one Xbox One.
Mm.
I'm never doing it again. God help you if you are playing it on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. Now, I did it before, all like the hot fixes and all that stuff. It's atrocious. It's god awful. And if those are your only way of playing it, if you haven't bought the game now, don't buy it. Just wait. I would honestly just upgrade a PC or get a new system and play it on that.
Or weirdly enough, play it on Google Stadia, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
It is not worth playing on a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One. This game is fine. It's fine. I like the world. The world is keeping me interested. I always try to play those Bethesda games, and I've only really gotten into Fallout 4, and that's just because I kind of made myself do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've only gotten into Skyrim because I kind of made myself do it. Like I don't like Mad Max type, like post-apocalyptic stuff, and I don't like stuff that's like retro, and that's Fallout, right? And I'm not into high fantasy as much as I am into science fiction. and high fantasy is the Elder Scrolls. So this is cool for me. I enjoy this game, but the game is not perfect. And we'll talk about all the good stuff, and we'll talk about all the bad stuff. But I have experienced the bugs that you experience in these type of games. Not a lot of them. On more than a few occasions, I've had screen freezes where the game just freezes for 10 seconds. And this isn't like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No, these are 10 real-time seconds to the point where I'm about to turn my system off, but then all of a sudden it comes in, right? There's pop in, there's, I've had some guns just kind of materialize in my hand. It's not polished, right? It's not polished. And which I'm not mad at, right? What I am upset with is all of the discourse around it, right? I wasn't as like uber pumped for this game as apparently everyone else was. Like, I was excited for it, but I wasn't like, oh, I'm taking a day off and I can't sleep, right? Like, and this game is, I'd have been fine if it got delayed again. To kind of iron some things out, because it's not perfect. But I steered clear of reviews for this game because I felt the video game like populace kind of hyping themselves up. And I went back and I watched some of these reviews. I found out that they only gave you PC copies, which, come on, man.
Not only did they only give out PC keys, which is fine. I mean,
I get it.
Like, you can pick a system to play it on. They wouldn't let any reviewer, like even people who they sent keys out to, show their in-game footage.
Yeah, that's the thing that really stuck out to me.
Before the release date, essentially, or I think before.
If you were doing a video review, you were not allowed to have your own in-game footage. You had to use trailer footage. You had to use their footage,
right?
Yeah, and that's not that ain't cool, man. But at the same time, I see people like praising this game, right? And oh my God, it's an experience, right? It's a gaming experience. I mean, by the definition of the word experience, I guess you're having an experience playing the game.
Right. You are experiencing a game, yes.
But the way that people are lauding this, and they tried to, they mentioned the bugs and stuff like that, but it was just nothing but praise, right? And I think that's kind of, I mean, your opinion is your opinion. I like the game, by the way. I really do. I just think my darling wife is sending me a link from the Washington Post about Cyberpunk's rocky launch, as if I don't know. But I see all the discourse around this game. And it leads to a bigger conversation about that we can have later. But of how we all just kind of, how everything is either epic or trash. And there's nothing, like, there is no, I guess there is criticism, but I don't know. I guess it's just me being an old man and seeing everybody's opinions of it.
I mean, it very much feels like kids these days, like, cannot just let something just be fine. Like,
yeah, man. Like, there's
or just let something be flawed. Even.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
You're allowed to enjoy things that are flawed. I have said this over and over and over again. You're allowed to like things that are less than great.
Well, so let me ask you a question in terms of performance, and it just goes to show you where this game's at right now, that we literally spent like 2 minutes talking about the game and then spent the rest of the time so far talking about everything surrounding the game. The Witcher, because I didn't play that when it first came out. What was the performance of Witcher 3 like when that released?
I mean,
I don't remember it being this
No, it because it wasn't that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like it wasn't.
I recall
don't,
it having some issues,
right?
But nothing as egregious as what I've been hearing about with Cyberpunk.
Well, and it's funny because with Cyberpunk, it sure seems like that the biggest issue is centered around the old gen console performance, because anyone that I've talked to that's played this on a PC with the specs to handle it or a next gen console has experienced the normal run of the mill open world RPG style like bugs and dumb shit that you see in games like, you know, stuff that comes from Bethesda or you know, stuff from, you know, like your MMOs, that, you know, Final Fantasy 14 type style games and that sort of thing. Whereas with the old gen consoles, where it's nearly unplayable, this is comparable to like when Skyrim released on PS3. Levels of badness.
Here's someone asked a question on Twitter that I feel like is worth asking on this show.
Mm-hmm.
If your game was announced in 2013,
then you'd think yes,
and then started development in 2016, when the quote last gen consoles were considered current gen or next gen consoles, and then you claim that you did not spend enough time on the last gen version, then what the fuck were you doing? And I think that's a valid question.
No, apparently it's not. Apparently
well, here's
apparently any mild criticism of CD Projekt Red means you're not a real gamer. I forgot.
Here's beyond this. Let's take this a step beyond what you're saying, Carrie. Technically, the Xbox Series X and PS5 versions of this game don't actually exist yet. Yeah. Like the PS5 and the Series X are just playing the PS4 and Xbox One versions of the game.
Correct.
But since they have better hardware, they're able to run them in a much more efficient and stable fashion than the old hardware does, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And even PC, like if you're playing it on a low spec machine, is not a great experience either. And I guess this it's good to kind of pivot into this. So it was a little galling, I gotta say. To have, you know, a couple days after this game comes out, CD Projekt Red release a statement that they probably wrote before the game even released, to be quite frank, about the performance issues in the game and its inexcusable state on old generation consoles and things of that nature. Combine that with the, hey, you can't show your game footage beforehand. Combine that with the fact that they consciously did not show it running on the actual, you know, old hardware, or at least not in a very controlled environment, because they did have some gameplay footage on Xbox One X and PS4 Pro, but it wasn't, you know, it was a vertical slice. It wasn't crazy.
Yeah, it was driving around in a car for like 30 seconds.
Right.
Like,
so if you add all these up together, it's very clear that CD Projekt Red knew that the game was not really in a releasable state.
Oh, 100%.
Old gen consoles. And yet they released it anyway. They were still happy to take people's money and to cash in on the game regardless of this fact. And that is, like I said, I personally and we on the show have certainly called out Bethesda for releasing games in buggy, you know, messy states before, and deservedly so. Bethesda,
there's a difference between messy and unplayable.
Right. There's a huge difference. And there's also a huge difference in kind of like consciously doing it. Like, I legitimately don't think Bethesda thought that the PS3 version of Skyrim, for example, when that first dropped, was going to be
as bad as it was.
Considering that it ran fine on, you know, PC and
ran fine on 360. Right. Yeah.
So I don't contribute any malfeasance to them in that regard. But this is malfeasance.
It's
deceit. It's absolute deceit on the part of CD Projekt Red to release this game without giving people a heads up, without being like, hey, it's, you know, it's not good right now. Like, we'll put it out, but, you know, it's going to have problems for a while and we're working on it, but this, that, or the other thing.
It does inherently feel like a purposeful misleading of their consumer base to make no effort to show any significant amount of gameplay on PS4, Xbox One, to
not only no effort, they made effort to make sure you don't
like conscious effort to make sure that the gameplay did not see the light.
The whole thing with the game reviewers not being sent any, like, 0 console keys were sent out. It's one thing if the PC key is sort of the default, but many reviewers or many publishers, if a reviewer is like, hey, I don't have XYZ thing, can I have, you know, an option B? Yeah, usually publishers will allow that to happen, but CD Projekt Red, like, refused to send out console keys, which I think is the key difference here. Yeah, like, feels fucking bad, man. Like,
it's almost as if they're one of the evil corporations in their game.
Huh.
and I see all these people praising them, like, do you know what game you're playing?
Well, and so that's the thing. So the question is, if you know this, why would you do this? Why would you put out this game in this state, knowing the negative PR that's going to result, knowing the criticism, knowing that you're going to get dragged around the room? And that is because we've seen time and time again, company among company, there is no actual tangible price to be paid for doing it. The one of the other stories that came out amidst everything was a memo that went around internally at CDPR that said that the revenue that it generated from digital pre-order sales alone, not even counting physical sales, not even counting any digital purchases after release, the digital pre-order revenue by itself recouped all of the marketing and production and promotional costs for the game up front.
That's a lot, because there was a marketing blitz, especially, you know, closer to release, which, again, all of the marketing is Xbox branded. All of the marketing is Xbox branded. You know what an Xbox is? A console.
Yeah.
Like, they had Keanu Reeves come out and say, you're breathtaking at a Microsoft.
Yeah, right.
Xbox
at a Microsoft
event.
Presentation.
So I don't want to hear people like, oh, well, you know, you should be playing it on PC. No, I'm playing it on the system that they are pushing, that they said that I can play it on.
Yeah.
It's one thing for, I feel like in general, a lot of people have accepted that in many cases across, I would say, almost every game, the PC version of the game, if you can run it at the highest specs, is going to be the best version of the game. That's just, I feel like if you're into gaming in any serious capacity, you just know that by now. But not everyone has a PC. Right?
Most people are not a high-end gaming.
You know, so. Not high-end gaming PCs are still very much sort of like a niche market in a lot of ways. And as Micah said, they pushed so hard with Xbox and the promotion of this game, and now they're like, oh well, obviously you should be playing it on PC.
Yeah,
no, how obvious? Like,
it just, everything around, and that's the thing. I like the game, right? I don't think it's like some sort of revolution, right? But it is very enjoyable. The gunplay is surprisingly good.
Oh, really? I'm not enjoying the gunplay so far.
But because I don't do a lot of it. Is what I'm saying. Like, I'm a quick hat guy, right? Like, I'm a net runner. I'm doing a lot of quick hats. I'm a mage or whatever. But the guns that, and I'm using a lot of smart guns,
Mhm.
so they just kind of find their target. But when I don't have them, if it suffers from the RPG problem of RPG shooter problem
Mhm.
of, hey, I just shot you in the face with a shotgun and I saw 12 headshot icons from all the bucks that hit you in the head and you're still walking at me. Like I don't, I mean, I guess it's just the nature of this type of game, but I think the gunplay is serviceable. The world is interesting. Keanu Reeves is a little Keanu Reevesy.
Mhm.
Like it feels like he's just kind of reading lines. Like I've seen him do better. I've seen him act better, but it just feels like he's kind of reading lines. But the characters around it are interesting. Um, this game has potential,
Mhm.
but it's not the best open world game I've ever played. Rockstars are the kings of that,
Mhm.
if I'm being honest.
And honestly, even Assassin's Creed has really
Yep,
come up in the past couple of years.
yeah, they really have. Um, and it's weird because I'm actually really enjoying the game, but like everything around it is annoying to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's hard to divorce yourself from everything else that's going on around it because it's so like we follow the industry; it's in our face. I imagine a lot of people playing this game aren't even privy to any of that stuff, which I wish I could live in such blissful ignorance, but but it's not. It's just not that way. One thing that I'm curious that I'm not seeing this floated about as much, and you think they would because the games industry journalists tend to bang this drum a lot. If there is no game that has hopefully put the nail in the coffin of pre-order culture for consumers, like this would have to be it, wouldn't it? Like this is the like the shiny example. This is why you don't give people your non-refundable money, months and months and months advance in a game coming out, Micah. This is why that you
Yeah.
don't want to just kind of throw money at this for for a costume or a skin or things of that nature, because you
They
never
didn't even
know.
give me that.
Right. And yeah, there wasn't even a bonus. There wasn't even a bonus for this. I would hope that at this point people understand that there's no tangible benefit to doing it. I don't care what bonus they give you. It's with the in this day and age, with consoles being what they are, with crunch culture and a lot of people's desire to move away from it being what it is, and with financial targets that still need to be hit by companies that are traded publicly still. That's a mixture that combines into games that just aren't going to be done when they hit the streets. And I think you need to wait to see what reviews look like from now on, because you might not be getting a finished product at launch. And we've seen it time after time with game after game. And I'm not talking about, like, Assassin's Creed had bugs when it came out, but they knocked that shit out in they were minor and they got knocked down in like a week. Like that's normal run of the mill, after certification, but we're still working on kind of stuff. This game needed to be in development for 6 more months. Honestly, it really did. I mean,
and here's the thing, and the worst part about it is that it would have been 6 more months worth of crunch for the poor development team.
Most likely.
I can't believe that they put fucking dick jiggle physics in this game, but they couldn't make the console versions playable.
Right. Like I don't, you don't need all that. The character customization is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Saints Row did it first. So, I'm not terribly impressed with it, but there's other resources that could have been. Like, this game has, like, on the one hand, like, yeah, I could kind of get immersed into it. And then the second I get immersed, something happens and it just takes me out of it. And I don't know, man. This is a weird one. I would have waited if I didn't pre-order it. I would have waited.
Yeah. And it stinks because I really do want to play the game. Like I've enjoyed what I've played so far. I want to play more. It's hard not to let the whirlwind of information not creep into your head. I think that might be also part of the reason why I haven't prioritized playing this game as much as I thought I would. I just might be kind of down because it sucks to hear people bitching about stuff related to it. It's also a little disappointing. Like, we don't know when the actual next gen versions of the game are coming out. It could be 2 months from now. It could be 6 months from now. It could be a year from now. They could release in the same kind of hackneyed state that the game released in now. Like, because you know, the port to next gen could result in all new and exciting bugs and issues and sort of things that might pop up. So that's been kind of a bummer. But I want to play the game. Like, I don't want to have to wait 4 months to experience it, especially because I know in 4 months fucking Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes out and I'm gonna want to play that. Like I want to be done with Cyberpunk in 4 months time. So that's frustrating. It's frustrating that with all the delays that we couldn't withstand any more of them at this point. And it's just frustrating to see another company be fine with releasing a product that is good enough. And it's not even good enough, honestly. Like, it's not even good enough.
Yeah, it's like
it's good enough on PC.
Right, it's good enough on PC.
Right.
That,
it's like buying it's like buying a new car, right? And if you bought it on if you got a PC, you bought a new car. If you got a PS5 or an Xbox Series X, you got a new car, but with no power steering. Like, yeah, you can play it, but it's kind of difficult. And then if you got this thing on a PS4 or Xbox One, it's like buying a new car with no brakes because you're gonna crash. And for a company that, I don't know if they have positioned themselves this way or if fans have positioned themselves this way, but
a little bit of both.
They are the pro gamer company, right? And for them to do this, especially with the content that is in this game, you know, the whole punk aesthetic is anti-establishment, anti-corporation. Like,
it's not very punk of them to do this.
It's not very punk of them to do it. And for them to do it is borderline egregious, man. If this was any other company, God forbid, if this was a fucking Mass Effect game, I mean,
if this was anything released by BioWare,
people wouldn't. I would have to just get off of Facebook because people would just be hating on it so much. But I just
that was one of the fascinating things about Andromeda's launch, is that even the BioWare diehards were not standing for that game. Like
BioWare diehards were like, this is
they were more mad than anybody.
Right.
In all honesty. Well, but let's also remember what CDPR is ultimately. They're not this big company that's made all these games and they're the Witcher company.
Right.
They're the Witcher company. They made a game series that was very good but very niche and only on PC for a lot of years. Then Witcher 2 made its way out to console and more people started playing it. And then Witcher 3 was the first big one that really stuck their put their flag in the ground. Witcher 3, if you want to make a BioWare comparison, Witcher 3 was like kind of like their Mass Effect 1. Like realize that in a lot of ways. And maybe you could say it was actually like their KOTOR. That might be a better comparison.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I see what you mean. I see where you get.
But that was their first huge, like, successful big game, and they got everyone's attention. And this is the follow up. And when you get those bands, right, that like you have those bands, and like they have, like, when they're on the indie scene, they have those albums that 10 people listen to, and they're usually really good. And then they get that one big single, that one album that they blow up, and then all the pressure in the world comes down on their shoulders with that follow-up album. And a band's like second mainstream album often tends to be hyper criticized because it has to then carry on the expectations of the amazing first album that surprised you and came out of nowhere. That's what it kind of feels like to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I mean, look, I like this company. I like their games. right? I've played with all three of the numbered Witcher games,
Mhm.
right? And I like what they're doing, but I'm not going to anoint any company as like the savior of video games. I'm also not going to nitpick, right? I'm not going to nitpick the bugs in this game because it's just something that happens. But when there are like, I'm not going to nitpick like a random NPC that I normally would not follow, just walking around in circles. Like, who cares? I got shit to do, right?
Right.
But if the game freezes for 10 seconds while I'm driving because it's got to load, I'm gonna complain about that. and there's nothing wrong with expecting with a certain level of quality. I'm not saying a game got to be perfect. I don't think any game is perfect. My favorite games aren't perfect, but I want it to work. That's it. I just want it to work.
Here's sort of my final thoughts on this issue as far as CD Projekt Red is concerned. Previous success, and I would say previous success should not mean that you get to hand wave current failures.
Yeah.
No.
But the problem is that I think they a little bit, and many of their fans especially, are expecting people to hand wave the current failures that have come with Cyberpunk. Because in many ways they are failures, right? They failed to release a playable product on console. And they failed to address the numerous issues that make even the next gen and PC versions, fully a finished product. But I feel like their diehards are just, around here being like, well, Witcher 3 is one of the best games of a generation, so, Cyberpunk, that's just how games are. You can't just wave it away, man.
No, and I feel like for some of their diehard fans, the need to take that stance comes from seeing the negative PR and feeling the need to come to their defense and not let them take those slings and arrows, which is hilarious to me anyway. Again, this is a giant corporation.
Right.
They don't need you taking cannon fodder.
They're not gonna fuck you. Like,
right.
Right.
as they say.
They've pulled off the heist of the century. Like, they don't have to. They ain't worried about you.
but and I guess like if the next big CD Projekt Red project came out in shambles, then they might start because again we said this for years leading up to Mass Effect Andromeda, is that and we, like I said, we were on the front lines saying this, and I will always be proud that we called this shit from a mile away, is that or Mass Effect's fans were looking for a reason to shit on Mass Effect Andromeda because they had a bad taste in their mouth with how Mass Effect 3 ended, and they carried that fucking shit with them for 5 fucking years. And so the minute the game came out, and it had a lot of fucking texture issues, and the characters were walking weird, it had derpy faces, and there was bugs, like that's all the red meat that they needed to jump on them. So CD Projekt Red is, I guess this is their Mass Effect 3 moment in some ways for them. So they better hope that Witcher 4 comes out and is pristine when it launches. And look, they're going to fix this game. I have no doubt about that. It's going to play great and run great, in a matter of months or maybe a year or so at some point once they get the bugs worked out, because they did the same thing with Witcher 3, and that game runs really well and is a shining example of a good open world game in terms of stability and things of that nature. It's just really disappointing that they didn't feel like they needed to release it in that fashion.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
Yeah. But maybe we'll I'm curious to see when you get further along. I'm curious to compare notes. What life path did you pick?
Corpo.
Okay, yeah, I did the same thing. I know. I was hoping you
I
would do
thought you.
something.
I thought you'd go Street Kid.
No, that's racist. I'm very uppity. I'm very uppity. I'm very bougie. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Racist.
Now,
Unbelievable.
now CDPR is trying to issue refunds for the game for people that are upset and disaffected and feel like they got bait and switched, which kind of did. But and apparently that's even becoming a bit of a boondoggle as well, because it's not up to CDPR to refund games unless you bought it directly from them. It's up
again
the console.
that bullshit statement that
Right.
they put out. That's what really made me mad, dude.
Yeah.
Like that bullshit statement of well, we understand that you might not like it, and we're working really hard, and we're sorry we put the game out there. I mean, if you really want to, if you don't believe in us that we will
Right.
fix this game by February, if you don't want to wait, I understand. You can ask someone else to give you your money back. But we got paid, so the loss will be on them. Like that statement really pissed me off, but it is expected. What I guess I should have expected this, but what I did not expect is the 6,000 people who were like, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay, sweetie. Like, fucking
Oh,
Stockholm
it's
syndrome.
CDPR. We're happy that you graced us with this game from the mountaintop in the first place.
Right.
You could have given us
Bunch
a
of
flaming pile of
fucking-
dog shit, and I would have been happy to accept it.
Fucking weak-willed simps jacking off on Facebook to Keanu Reeves.
Look, man, I'm a fan of stuff too, yo. I really am. But I'm also like, I am easily spurned. Like I am easily like, yo, you did me wrong, yo. Like, and saying I can hold a grudge, man. I can hold a grudge for a while. And just saying my bad ain't gonna, after you punch me in the face, that ain't gonna cut it, yo.
They might as well have fucking packed that statement in with box copies of the game. such was the timing of the statement coming out.
Right.
For Christ's sake.
Yo. Wow, man. This is a very interesting. What a way to cap off the gaming year.
I know, right? It's just crazy. It's just kind of nuts. And again, like they even say in their statement, like, the management board was too focused on releasing the game and they underestimated the scale of the problems. And I'm like, you guys, even though you're a publicly traded company, you're still a small company. Like it's not like your company is being fucking money managed by dudes that, have board meetings in the penthouse that don't talk to people that actually
right. Like your company is not run by fucking Warren Buffett. Like you guys knew what you were doing. Like don't fucking be out here being like, oh, it's the stockholders. They made us do it.
Right.
No, they didn't. Like shut the fuck up. Take some fucking responsibility for your product.
Oh man.
Yeah. But again,
Anyway.
it's there's not going to be a tangible price to be paid here. The game will eventually be fixed. All will be forgotten in 2 years or a year and a half or whenever they feel like they need the shot in the arm of fucking PR. They'll show off a teaser trailer for Witcher 4 and nobody will remember anything that happened with.
You're probably right.
When they get ready to release the multiplayer, people aren't gonna be like that. People are gonna be like, huh? Oh, multiplayer, and then all of that's gonna have a bunch of bugs.
Right.
Yeah, it is.
So
yeah, it is.
So like I said, I hope for their sake that they did not squander the decade and a half of goodwill that they had built themselves over these many years. And I don't think they have, honestly.
No,
I think that people are mad now, but time heals all wounds, as they say. But again, it's I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
That's it.
All right, Dad.
I can't think of a better way to bring that up there.
No, it's
So
accurate.
new releases this week as
My
we get into
goodness.
the show proper. 40 minutes in. Among Us released on Nintendo Switch today. So did one of Brad's going to be in his top 10 game of the year, Grindstone. Go play it. It's $15. It's really good. That came
What
out on
is it?
Nintendo Switch as well. Grindstone is kind of like it's kind of a puzzle game of sorts where you have this dude and you have to tear through these monsters, but the monsters are one of 3 or 4 different colors. And you want to create long chains, but you can only attack monsters of the same color each turn unless you can spawn the titular Grindstone, which lets you then switch to a different color mid slashing, and that's how you build like these really long chains. And it's just a bunch of puzzle rooms. It was the only game that I really played the shit out of when I had my Apple Arcade subscription for a while, and played it so much that I beat it on iPhone. They kind of they kind of redesigned it to work well in the Nintendo Switch, so you can use the touchscreen to drag it to draw your path in handheld mode, or you can just use the analog stick to do your way through as well. I was playing before we got on. Like I said, it's super fun. It's on sale for $15 right now. It's really good. Calico comes out for PS4, Xbox, Switch, and PC. Collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend comes to the Nintendo Switch. Gears 5 Hive Busters. This is a mode within Gears 5, I would assume. That's really
I think it's either a mode or an expansion, one of the two. I can't remember.
Well, that's coming to Xbox and PC. And then MXGP 2020 releases on PlayStation, Xbox, and PC.
Wow, they're still releasing Gears 5 content.
Yeah.
Good on them. There might be a reason for that, as we'll cover later in the show. Because Gears 5 might have to carry the torch for the old Xbox for a while. But more on that to come.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can
Yes.
Excellent. Check out, go to youtube.com/densepixels. Click subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified of
It's like a real
when,
YouTuber.
when this, no, you real YouTubers are like, youtube.com/densepixels, smash that subscribe button, smash that bell notification icon, follow my Patreon.
They would have opened the show with, what's up, guys?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Dense Pixel, here. Like and subscribe, smash it. Like, all right. Subscribe to all of our podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, including the Nerdpocalypse, Black on Black Cinema, Coming Distractions. There's a new Coming Distractions review.
Yes.
Did you do that? I haven't listened
that.
to it yet because I want to watch the movie. I haven't listened to it yet.
I got a digital screener of Promising Young Woman, which is very good.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. I was like, all right, I got to see this. So, good.
That's on now.
I will check out your review on Coming Distractions, and you get the weekly preview episode of the Look Forward Political Podcast. If that's not enough, go to densepixels.com/premium, and for $5 a month or $50 a year, you get access to all of the premium content, including the airing of grievances, No Time to Bleed, The Men with the Golden Tongues, Upstage Conversation, and the full episodes of the Look Forward Political Podcast. I did not see one up yet.
That might be because we're recording it after we record this.
Okay.
So
also, there is a new episode of Upstage Conversation that we'll be releasing this week, and it is on.
Is it Cats?
It is Cats.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
When Andrew guest on.
Yes. One Andrew finally got his comeuppance for making me watch Rent.
That should be very, very
It's by far the longest, and I'm pretty sure we're going to make that public as well. So you won't even need a premium subscription to listen to me and Andy talk about cats for an hour and 15 minutes.
So
Excellent.
into the news, Nintendo did as they've been apt to do lately, and that's release a Nintendo Direct Mini with like less than 24-hour notice.
Yep.
And then drop that shit on YouTube. It was mostly indie driven.
It was all
I think it
indie
was
driven.
exclusively indie driven. The two biggest pieces of news to come from the show, we talked about Among Us, the sensation of 2020, releasing on the Nintendo Switch today. So hey, all those that have been asking if we stream it, you might now get your wish at some point eventually once we figure out how that works. So look forward possibly to that to come. The other big news is that both Spelunky and Spelunky 2 are going to be getting Nintendo Switch ports in the summer, which I'm pretty excited about because I'd like to play Spelunky 2, but I really don't want to play it on the PlayStation. Like, it just feels like a Switch game to me. So I'm gonna wait for that to come out, and we'll certainly play it there as well.
I think the other big thing out of this is that Super Meat Boy Forever is going to be a console exclusive at launch, and it launches on the Switch next week.
Yes. Never played any of the Super Meat Boy games, or I guess the Super Meat Boy game, because I think there's only one.
Yes.
But I know a lot of people are very excited about that. Again, we talked about Calico. They talked about that here, which is about running a cat cafe. So, if you're into that, you got that going for you. When the Past was around as a point-and-click puzzle game, Cyber Shadow, a side-scrolling ninja game about fighting robots, is coming out in January. And then there's a bunch of other indie games that are coming out later on next year. Nothing that was like super huge or jaw-dropping or anything like that. So,
no.
Like I said, I was super excited that they did the stealth release for Grindstone. I've been looking forward to that coming out on Switch for quite a while because I don't want to pay $5 a month to Apple just to play that game. So. I'm happy to pay $15 to Grindstone and just call it a day.
Yeah.
At the end of the day there. So that was pretty cool. We got some interesting release delay news from our good friends over at Microsoft who said that Halo Infinite is now coming out in the fall of 2021.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I can't believe that at any point they were like, yo, we're going to release this game as a day one
this was
Series
going
X.
to happen as recently as July.
Yeah.
They thought back in July this
and it was
come
coming
out in
out
November.
This year.
No problem.
You want to know? Keep talking.
Yeah, so in July they were under the belief that it'll come out in November. This will not be a problem, and now the game is not coming out till November next year.
Yeah, it turns out it's a big problem.
Yeah.
It is a significant problem.
You want to know how confident they were that this game was coming out?
How confident were they? Could they put it on the back of the box?
It's on the back of the box, dude. It's on the back of the box.
To be fair, Micah, what the fuck else are they going to put on the back of their console box? They're going to put Marcus Phoenix on the back? Get out of here. You're going to put
they're going to put fucking Mr. Chef on their box because they do it every generation.
See, what they didn't tell us back when they first showed off Halo Infinite gameplay and told us it was coming out at launch, what they meant is that Master Chief was coming to Fortnite at Xbox X console launch, not Halo Infinite coming out. Easy confusion. It's our fault, really, for not understanding what they were trying to explain when they announced that news, I have to say.
Look, we're having fun, but at the same time, like,
good on them for not releasing a broken piece of shit.
Yep. You take as much time as you need.
Right. But again, it's just I can't. I just can't, like, this is, I don't know. I don't like it's amazing to me that, again, this was supposed to be their big tentpole launch title. For Xbox Series X. So
God damn it, it sucks, but it would suck a lot more if because look, I don't know if they would have the goodwill that CD Projekt Red apparently has.
I think among their fans, they kind of sort of do in some ways, but I don't know. I'm not really in touch with Halo universe. So.
Maybe because people would find a reason to justify their $500 purchase. But look, just release it when it's done. Like, I get it now, man. Like, we gave people gave Valve all the crap that, you know, or was it Valve what's the company that was just like, we'll release it when it's done. I don't know, I can't remember, but like at this point,
Valve does take that stance with a lot of their games. So
yeah, like at this point, like, it's fine, dude. Just release it when it's done. I got plenty to play.
that is true, but I'm still going to enjoy the.
Oh yeah, but look, I'm not telling you not to.
Look,
I enjoy it.
Meanwhile, Sony's dropping fucking, you know, Miles Morales comes out and Sony's like, you know, sorry, you know, you got to choose between 60 FPS or ray tracing, and then like 2 weeks later, Insomniac's like, or do you?
That was the first thing I did. You lose 4K. All right, whatever.
That's not as big a deal as gaining, you know.
Yeah, as gaining
FPS
all
with
these
your pretty mirrors and windows and stuff.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it. You lose 4K and you lose pedestrian density, like population.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever. I don't give a damn. I'm not I'm not counting individual people to see if they do something wrong, right? Like, that's not my goal. My goal is to swing with the buttery smoothness of a black teenager. That's
and seeing your reflection on the glass windows as you fly by. So.
Yeah, and giving myself a dope ass pose while I'm doing it, like looking at myself, like, yeah, man. I like that ray tracing stuff, man. It gets me going,
dude. Like I said, the first game that showed me, oh, this is next gen, was that Ratchet and Clank demo that they fucking showed.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
can't wait for that fucking game to come out. It's gonna be cool shit. The big three in the gaming industry, Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, released a joint statement today saying that they are pledging together to make gaming, quote, safer for younger game players. The statement says, we believe that hate and harassment or exploitation of younger players in any way have no place in gaming. We partner with our community to promote safe gaming behavior and encourage the use of reporting tools to call out bad actors. We comply with all local laws and will respond to all lawful requests from law enforcement. We promptly notify law enforcement if we observe unlawful conduct or where we believe a player is at risk of imminent harm. They didn't really spell out any specific things that they're going to do in order to take this initiative. This is more of a general tenor of ways that they hope to improve in the future. It seems a little hollow for a statement coming out from all three of the biggest companies in gaming, who very rarely do anything like this. And very infrequently in an official capacity, no less. I mean, the last time that all three of them spoke out about something was when Jeff Keighley got, you know, Reggie Phil and Sean Layden on the stage together at the Game Awards to talk about how much they like gaming. Like, that wasn't even really a fucking, you know, a fucking thing. So, I'd like to understand more about what this is. But anything to make gaming safer for young people is a good thing.
Sure.
Considering, I guess. So, friend code's coming to Microsoft and Sony. That's how I'm reading this. That's how I'm reading this press release. Holy shit. A couple weeks ago, it was reported that Take-Two was buying racing game developer Codemasters. Apparently, EA, much like a shitty person on eBay swooping in the last 15 seconds of the auction ending and outbidding you, apparently came in and topped their bid, bidding $1.2 billion for Codemasters, and now Electronic Arts is acquiring the racing game giant, which is probably not what fans of Codemasters wanted to hear. I mean, look, in reality, with those two companies, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. But I guess Take-Two has a better public perception
I would say so.
as EA than EA does. So
Yeah, they're not the worst company in America.
Right.
They're not the worst company in America.
Oh God.
So what shitty Need for Speed game is Codemasters going to be forced to work on? That's the question that that has to be asked, I guess.
Man.
Need for Speed Mud. It's gonna be like a dirt game, but it's Need for Speed instead. Off-road racing with fucking sports cars. I'm waiting for.
And the cops chasing them.
Right, take your
Need for Speed Hazard County. There you go. It'll be a Dukes of Hazzard Need for Speed. Not an off-road stuff. You got your supercar and your General Lee. You got the cop. You got Sheriff J.W. Pepper back there trying to catch him. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Wow.
The fine folks over at Epic Games, the developers of Fortnite, are once again revolutionizing gaming, guys. So there's a new mode in Fortnite, and it's called the Spy Within. And what happens is you have 10 players, and among those 10 players are 2 spies. And the players that are spies know that they're spies, but the other players don't know that they're spies. So while everyone's working among the group of players that's working, the spies are trying to take out the other players, and the other players, like, you can, like, when someone dies, you can meet and try to figure out who the spy is and try to kick them out.
Brad, what you're saying is that if you and I are agents, we would have to be concerned that there is a spy among us.
That's true. We have to be concerned about that. And, like, if Michael was a spy, for example, and he was acting, suspect, or, sus, that's 2 syllables is too many. Let's say Michael was a little sus, then we can discuss it and boot Micah out. I'm so glad that Fortnite has revolutionized,
has invented this game.
So yeah, Fortnite is ripping off Among Us.
Like, this is ridiculous, show. I mean, look, it was bound to happen.
Again, I have to, here, let me stretch out my arm here and give ourselves a pat on the back. Wasn't it us who said that Fortnite was the Apple of the gaming industry?
Yeah.
Essentially, like, this is the most Apple shit that I've ever seen.
Yeah, they take it, they gloss it up, they charge you a premium for it, and then they say, "Oh, look at this thing that has been around for 2 generations ago."
Now this is a limited time event within Fortnite.
So they say.
Until it rakes in a bunch of money. Right. I don't know how they're going to monetize it, but they're going to monetize it.
But yeah, so Among Us, or a mode that is blatantly ripping off Among Us, or, which, again, it's not as if Among Us is some original thing. Among Us is just Werewolf,
it's
or
Werewolf.
Resistance, or Mafia, or pick your tabletop game wrapped up in a video game skin. But that's coming to Fortnite. So you got that to look forward to.
Hey man, that's the reason why they're so successful. They got their finger on the pulse.
It is. Finally, speaking of having your finger on the pulse, Micah, Twitch has decided recently to ban the Confederate flag and racist emote usage with their new conduct policy that came out. How is this not a thing that they decided to do a long time ago?
What is a racist emote? Do you, like, in Twitch, do you just kind of like make your own emotes and then just like populate them, or
emotes have to be approved.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my channel has a custom emote, and it's fucking Isaac from Golden Sun wearing sunglasses. Stupid, but I guess people have had, like, Confederate related emotes that have gotten approved. So I imagine Twitch will be cracking down on those. because it's like they're like, oh, we're banning the Confederate flag emote, and I saw a lot of people being like, I can't believe Twitch had a Confederate flag emote before, and it's not like Twitch as a company had one, I don't think, but like individual streamers have probably had them, so those will have to be removed. And as far as racist use of emotes, as the article says, people have used emotes in chat specifically by spamming global emotes of black streamers such as Tryhard or Kamunbra as a stand-in for racist content that would otherwise explicitly break Twitch's rules.
So if you want to, if you think someone is acting like someone is, if you want to be a racist and you thought this black guy's face, then that's code.
It's basically well understood, Twitch chat code for, okay. I want to say the N-word, but like I know I'll get banned if I say it, so I'm going to do this instead.
Well, I mean, like, I don't know what's more offensive, like showing a picture of a random black guy making a face, or like throwing up a ninja emoji, right? Because isn't that what the Insane Clown Posse do? They want to call each other niggers, but like they know it's wrong, so they just substitute one word, a word that's traditionally not used in a negative way for a negative word, even though when you do that, you are just making that word the negative word now. Like, it's not the word, it's the intent.
It's the context that the word is being used in, so.
You can call me a dog-faced pony soldier if you want. If you say it in a way that is like, you fucking dog-faced pony soldier, like, oh.
All right, that sounds like a slur now.
Right. Like, you dog-faced pony soldier, get over here, right? Like, people don't understand that.
Yeah.
But it's also the word, too. Don't fucking say that shit. That's not a pass for Jack to start calling people niggers. Get out of here. Don't say that shit around me.
Or in general, really. Not just the
look. I'm a realist, right? just like with this Cyberpunk game. I'm not gonna nitpick all the little bugs. You want to say it in the privacy of your own home, go ahead and say it. Do me the respect of not saying it to my face. Or in my presence.
I'm gonna go with you shouldn't say it at all.
Yeah, that's the answer you should go with.
As a respectable white person, I'm gonna go ahead and say, don't say that.
So for those keep score home, Micah just gave white folks permission to do it in the sanctity of your own house, essentially.
Do whatever you want in your own home. Do whatever you want. It's America, Jack. You can do whatever you want in your home as long as you're not hurting nobody. Or in animals. Don't hurt animals. I don't like animals, but I don't want to see them hurt. Anyway. Go to. Are you finished, Brad?
Oh, I'm done.
Go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon. When you go there, see, thought I was going to say it again. When you go there for all of your Amazon purchases, you help the show by giving us a finder's fee for all of the purchases that you make. Go to www.densepixels.com/Amazon. W is French for W or double V, which is what a W is. It's just two V's. I don't know why they don't call it double V.
You're so cultured.
I am.
He is the most cultured.
I am.
Swept up in all of the Cyberpunk news and really drowned out by it. And all the Disney news. So yeah. like Thursday.
It was like, I feel like the fucking Sabrina being given too many plates of pancakes image was perfect to sum up Thursday evening, because it was like we had the fucking Disney investors meeting where it was like all this Marvel stuff and all this Star Wars stuff and like actual Disney stuff, and then we had all of the shit at the Game Awards as well.
Here's how out of touch I am. So I didn't watch the Game Awards because I was playing Cyberpunk, but I was checking on Twitter every now and then, and I was really confused. I'm like, does Jeff Keighley have that much stroke that he's able to announce Disney stuff during the Game Awards? I was like, what is going on?
No, 2 different events.
Yeah, then I
But it
learned they
was
were
too
just
much all
two
at
events
once.
happening in sequence. So I the announcements. When did the Game Awards become like E3 essentially? Like they're
Like
E3
last year,
condensed in 3 hours.
I would say within the last year.
It's insane.
Yeah.
To the point that I feel like I need to blow through the award winners because it's the things that won the awards pale in comparison to the announcement.
Right. It's like, all right, cool. Last of Us Part 2 won all of the big ones. It won.
Which I can't.
Unsurprising.
I'm so no. It's a little surprising. I'm angry about it. I'm angry.
Yeah.
I'm angry.
I think a lot of people wanted Hades.
No, I think a lot of people
I would
wanted
have taken
Ghost
Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah,
I think a lot of
Okay.
people want to Ghost of Tsushima just because that is a as much as Hades is the little engine that could, everyone's a sucker for a AAA game, and apparently, and look, I haven't played The Last of Us Part 2. If it gets knocked down to $20, maybe I'll play it. But I've said this before about the first Last of Us, and I think it is true about this one. The Last of Us is an okay story. It's a subpar story told okay with a lot of polish.
Yeah.
And it's not a very interesting stealth game, right? Uncharted, it's framed the same way as Uncharted. You cutscene, you walk to an arena, and then you do what you need to do in the arena. In Uncharted's case, it's a gunfight. In Last of Us case, it's sneaking around, and then you exit that arena, you walk to another arena, or you walk to another cutscene. That's the flow.
Now, interestingly, Last of Us also won Best Game Direction. Now, an article came out on Kotaku that I found very interesting, and that is that said any studio that engages in developer crunch should not be eligible to win an award for Best Game Direction.
I fully agree with
And
that
I don't
sentiment.
think that's unreasonable.
No, because clearly you did not direct your game appropriately if your developers end up in crunch.
Yes. So that's
compare that to Supergiant Games, where they had this big article about the culture there, where it's like they require people to take time off. They don't do crunch. They're very staunchly anti-crunch. And Hades came out and it's one of the most beloved games of the year. So I think game direction probably should have gone to Supergiant.
Yeah, just saying.
Yeah.
Narrative, Last of Us Part 2 as well. Again, there's just better games telling better stories. It's not as good as you think it is just because they shot people and
because it's framed like a movie.
Yeah.
That's why people love it, because it's framed like a movie. And I'm not one of those people, like, don't get me wrong, right? I'm not one of those people who hates this like, if you say anything negative about it, I feel like you get pigeonholed into the bigots. And
hi, no, like, I'm a gay, the game is not interesting.
it's just we're not bigots here. I played the first one, it didn't grab me. I hated Joel. I guess I should play the second one because I hated Joel in the first one.
Right.
But I'm a little surprised.
I was happy to see No Man's Sky winning for best ongoing.
It was so fucking funny when that won too, because like I was watching the Game Awards live and No Man's Sky won best ongoing game, and fucking Sean Murray was like in the middle of a drink of his beer and like fucking choked on it and was like, fuck, like into the mic, like in the moment. It was very funny. Honestly, good for the guys at No Man's Sky. I have, and at Hello Games, I've said many times on the show that like, I kind of want to get back into it. The fact that I have finished Age of Calamity and I don't really have anything coming out until February at this point. Like maybe I might spend the next few weeks flying around in space. We'll see. But they clearly turned that game into something really worth playing. And Sean Murray was just like, I thought we were going to lose to Fortnite. We lose every year to Fortnite. So it was very funny in the moment, but was super happy for those guys.
I called Fall Guys winning community support. well deserved. Like I said, they're kind of like the little studio that could, in a lot of ways this year, with as big as that game has been. But the fact they've really held it together despite having a really small crew. Hades won action game, which is cool. Final Fantasy VII Remake won RPG of the year, which is not surprising at all. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate winning fighting game of the year.
Yo, fuck off, yo.
That's stupid. Animal Crossing won the Animal Crossing Award this year.
Yeah, best family game.
Like they shouldn't have even nominated anything else. Like that, obviously was going to win.
Tony Hawk. Tony Hawk skateboard game won best sports game.
Nice to see, honestly. Like I'm perfectly happy with that. Kind of cool that Among Us took home multiplayer game of the year over
Among Us
Warzone
also won best mobile game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah. So all around, except for the like Last of Us 2 winning all the big awards is like when that like movie that is really pretentious at the Oscars, like sweeps all the big categories.
That's like Green Book winning Best Picture a few years ago.
That is the perfect analogy. That is the perfect analogy. It is because that game had Game Awards bait written all over it. Like that is the perfect analogy.
Now, the trailers and announcements, though. Now, Carrie, I know why you put what you put first.
I put it first because it happened first in the show.
That's why. Fair. But here's the problem: is that you are overruled 2-1.
Yeah, I know.
In terms of excitement, Micah, they dropped a teaser for the new Mass Effect out of nowhere.
Yeah, at first I was like, "Oh, is this like a new like trailer for the remaster?" I was like, well, "I don't remember this." And
at first, like the lead up, because it was just like space, and I was like, apparently there was like a Reaper noise, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So I was just like, is this Starfield? Like, are we getting a Starfield trailer? And then it was Mass Effect, and I was like, neat.
So a little more enthusiasm than neat.
If you are not a fan of Mass Effect, I apologize in advance, Micah. We're diving deep on the trailer. So look, here's the thing. This might be a sequel to both games. It looks like it might be a sequel to both games. So they show both galaxies during the trailer.
They do.
They show both galaxies. They show the collector base for Mass Effect 2. They show dead mass relays. They started talking about the First Contact war, and I'm like, oh my God, are we getting a First Contact game? No, we're not. They mention Arc 6, Micah, the Quarian Arc, the last arc to leave the Milky Way galaxy to go to Andromeda. We got the Reaper noise, of course. I mean, come on. What are you going to do? It's post-Reaper War. There's some audio that suggested that's happening. We've lost contact. Is anyone receiving this? You'll of course recall at the end of Mass Effect 3, all of the mass relays in the galaxy went out when the Reapers went dead, essentially, which is fantastic. We see the new ship that came out in the concept art that they released recently. We see what appears to be so there's a figure scaling what looks like a mountain. Micah, it's probably actually a dead Reaper that this mysterious figure scaling up the arm of.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because just looking at the texture and the ridges on the actual ground itself, it looks like a one of those Reaper tentacles.
Yeah. And she picks up a helmet with the N7 logo on it. It's a piece of the N7 helmet. And then at the apex of the trailer, we see another dead Reaper in the background, and the figure slightly turns toward the camera, and it's Liara. But it's not just Liara. It's an aged Liara Tassoni. Now, for those of you not familiar with Mass Effect lore, the Asari species is a species that lives for 1,000 years or more in the Mass Effect game world. And people might be saying, well, how can this be a sequel to Andromeda? The journey to Andromeda took over 650 years. Well, Liara Tassoni was a young woman during the Mass Effect trilogy.
Yeah,
600 plus. Yeah.
She was a new scientist. Like
Yeah.
she was a kid essentially, right?
Yeah.
Like people were commenting on the fact that like because humans could live to like around 150 in this timeline, right? And I remember a conversation about how, oh yeah, I was 150 like a long time ago. Like this is a young Liara. So I yo.
And they're not on Earth because Earth does not have multiple moons. As they showed later. So pretty interesting. I'm not even upset that this game isn't going to come out for 4 years.
I mean, you gotta sell copies of the Legendary Edition, and then the Legendary Edition.
Michael, what if they
edition.
put some kind of a new epilogue into the Legendary Edition that's supposed to serve as sort of a.
That's what I'm thinking, right? Because everyone is so excited about this, but apparently they forgot that Mass Effect 3 is in it, and everyone apparently hates the Mass Effect 3 ending. It's not a great ending, but it's not like, what are you gonna do? But I think that they are going to kind of take a mulligan in order to set things up.
Well, they do if this does take place after Mass Effect 3, which it can't not, right?
Right.
They do have to pick one of those endings to be the canonical one, right?
Well,
or do they?
Yeah, I don't. Well, I guess this is technically just a remaster. It's not like I don't think they didn't say that they were developing new like assets for this game, right? So okay, you could pick one of them to be the canonical ending, but for like story purposes, you could throw in like a video or something at the end of it, or I don't know, man. I don't know. Like Shepard can die, right? God, I don't know. I don't know. I didn't hate the Mass Effect 3 ending as much as everyone, but I'm thinking that they're going to find a way to retcon parts of the ending so that you can. Oh, what if they don't give you like, because all three options were somewhat similar. What if they scrap the three well, they can't because it's just a remaster. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. But I'm excited. And I want more.
And we'll have to wait. Because that was very much a tease in the truest sense of the word.
Yeah, they pulled a James Bond will return.
What a way to like it that trailer was based on the reaction that I saw from the community. That trailer was the Listerine that washed the bad taste of Andromeda out of the mouths of many a jaded Mass Effect fan as soon as they saw it. Fucking dope. Carrie.
Yeah.
The floor is yours.
Sephiroth's going to Smash Brothers. As revealed in the trailer.
It was a cool trailer.
At the Game Awards. It was really funny. So like for me, like, it's got to do with the story mode. We've got all the rest of the Smash roster and they're trying to fight the big swirly biblical angel thing. And then like it gets cut in half. And I knew it was like the first fucking hit of One Winged Angel. I was like, it's Sephiroth. Like, because One Winged Angel is seared into every active brain cell that's left in my body. So yeah, Sephiroth has come to Smash Brothers, seemingly specifically to torment Cloud. So apparently he will be releasing by the end of the month. I believe this coming Thursday. Sakurai's doing like a streamed presentation,
like a deep dive.
They're going to showcase how he plays.
I'm gonna actually watch that. Like I didn't watch the one with I watched the one with Power Wave. What's that guy? Terry, yeah. Because he's a huge fan. And I have to assume, because he's a video game player, that he's a huge fan of Sephiroth.
I don't even know know if he's like a huge fan of Sephiroth or if they decided to put him in because like the remake released this year and Cloud is already in it. I'm curious as far as since every DLC character for Smash Brothers has also received like a new stage and whatnot as well. So I'm curious as to how his stage is going to look and whatnot, because this now means we're going to have a couple of Final Fantasy stages. But yeah, I was just like, all right, cool. I guess I just have One Winged Angel stuck in my fucking head for the next week.
I mean, like,
Great.
his stage has to be like Nibelheim, right? Like, it's got to be like Nibelheim on fire, right? Or
I mean,
or
I would
I don't
assume
know.
so. I don't know.
I don't know, but
But-
yeah, man. I mean, look, I'm not gonna lie. Kind of got a little hype. Kind of got a little hype.
Yeah, I got a little
Yeah.
hype. I don't even like Final Fantasy VII, and I got a little hype. I was just like, neat.
I like Final Fantasy VII. I think I think people need to calm down about it, but I do enjoy it, and it's cool to see Sephiroth and Cloud in something, like even if it was like that whack ass Advent Children movie. Right? Like, it's cool to see those because they're very unique looking characters, and they're
Yeah.
characters that are part of gaming culture at this point.
Yeah.
Just that music alone, like it's yeah.
It was that first like shun, and I was just like, motherfucker. Like
And it makes sense, right? You got one in there, and they come, they generally have fighters in pairs there, right? Like,
Yeah.
It makes sense. Oh,
like you
man,
got your Final Fantasy hero, and now you got your Final Fantasy villain. So
yeah. And look, it's better than Frank or Steve or Jim or whatever that Minecraft guy is.
ugh.
So
Yeah.
there's a teaser shown for a new Perfect Dark game that is coming to Xbox from new studio The Initiative.
Little curious about it.
Yeah.
But this doesn't really tell me anything. So
Arc 2 is
Too
coming
Arc
out.
Too Furious.
Sorry, yeah. Starring one Benjamin Diesel in the new game.
It's like this trailer. First of all, this trailer was like 100 years long,
Right.
and it was like Vin Diesel fighting goblins and being chased by a T-Rex, and then like he goes underground and there's like weird technology. And I don't know what's going on, but I was like, why is Vin Diesel here?
Here's the thing. That's not all, because there's also an animated Arc series coming to, I guess, Netflix or something. I don't know.
I don't fucking know, but it's gonna have Gerard Butler and Malcolm McDowell in it,
And David Tennant and Carl Urban and Russell Crowe
and
and
Elliot
Alan
Page.
Tudyk and Michelle Yeoh and Jeffrey Wright.
wow.
Yeah. I don't know where they're getting the money. Like, where are the ARC people getting the money for this?
I don't know.
I think they're
I
getting
don't
people
know.
on the cheap because they ain't got nothing to do.
That's also entirely possible,
I mean, Arc was really successful, so
I guess.
it made a lot of money. So there's
It's so odd seeing Vin Diesel in this.
that. It is.
Yeah, I was very confused because I did not immediately recognize him. And I was like, what is he doing here? What's
And
going on?
Vin Diesel is a very well-known dork.
Right.
He's
His
one of
stage
these-
name is taken from his Dungeons and Dragons character. Like,
right, which I've never played Dungeons and Dragons, but I can't imagine that they would have diesel fuel in Dungeons and Dragons. So where the name would come from, I don't know. I don't know. It sounds like a Transformer name, but yeah, he's a big dork, and I love that he's letting his geek flag fly. It's just weird. It's just weird. Like, I can kind of see Keanu Reeves as Johnny Silverhand, right? He kind of looks like what Johnny Silverhand looks like. Johnny Silverhand is a rocker, and Keanu Reeves has a band. Like I can see it. Vin Diesel, I just associate with cars now. So it's very difficult for me to not see, you know.
Cars and shitty mid 2000 action movies.
Yeah, well, he wanted to be a spy. Fuck you, Triple X. Get out of here, man.
Ghosts and Goblins is getting a remade version for the Nintendo Switch, along with the Capcom Arcade Stadium, which is going to be a compilation of retro Capcom games as they were originally released in arcades. So that's coming. I never liked Ghosts and Goblins. That game is hard and it is not fun.
Yeah, I agree.
Left 4 Dead Part 3, which we knew about. It's called Back 4 Blood. I mean, yeah, we've seen this before. That was a new trailer. This is Left 4 Dead 3, even though it's not called Left 4 Dead, which is fine.
Yep.
And then we got another teaser trailer from a little game.
I'm gonna crack that egg wide open.
Little video game. Also from BioWare called Dragon Age.
Yo, that motherfucking egg. I'm gonna beat the shit out of that dude. I can't wait.
What is up with the like kind of like sort of modern looking aesthetic in like one of the towns in the game?
Yeah, in like one of the because it was like, you know, they're still highlighting like your 3 classes, right? It's like you have a fighter and a rogue and like a mage, basically. But it's like, oh, you know, you don't need a magic hand to be the hero. This is your story and how you want to tell it and whatever. You know, just RPG bullshit, right? Yeah, so the expected new setting is Tevinter, which I think is like a much bigger, more populous city. I don't think it's modern, but it is bigger.
The big city.
More
city.
of a true metropolis, though still very much high fantasy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, you know, this is the New York City of this world. Yeah, fuck the Inquisitor, right? No, you don't need a magic hand. Whoa, bro. You know, I didn't use you much because I'm a heightist. I don't use dwarves in my party. And I was the ranger, so I have no use for you and Bianca. But come on, bro, we were cool, man. Eric, get out of here, man. Look, I am excited. This got me excited enough to want to start playing, to want to replay Dragon Age Inquisition, because I really like that game. And
I want to go back just to be mean to Solus the entire time. That's it. I just want to tell that fucking egg to eat shit and die.
Could you imagine if like you romanced Solus?
No, I can't, because at no point did I find him attractive. I played through Dragon Age twice. I romanced Cullen the first time because he's a Disney prince who just happens to have a heroin problem, and and then I went back to ride the bull. So.
Oh shit! I might have to romance one of the dudes. The women weren't. Cassandra was
the only reasonable option.
Yeah. I romanced Cassandra, and even then, she's still very like standoffish to me. Like,
Look,
all right.
I respect her.
Yeah. I'm just not attracted to her. You know what I mean?
She's not really my type.
Yeah.
I like. If you're a female and you're playing it, like you gotta.
I mean, you got a Kunari.
Romance Sarah.
You got yeah. Oh.
Sarah's the worst. Holy shit, yeah. Sarah's fucking obnoxious, and she's like, "I'm a lesbian. You want a scissor?" And I'm like, "I don't. I really don't.
Yeah, she's I gotta play that game again.
She's awful.
I gotta play that game again.
Oh, so those are your announcements from the words. Like I said, it was all about. I couldn't care less.
A bunch of other stuff sort of worth mentioning in passing. Fucking Callisto Protocol looks like the sort of Dead Space successor. Near Replicant gameplay was highlighted. Oddworld Soulstorm is coming out next year. Elder Scrolls Online is going to Oblivion, which is kind of cool. And then some other like indie games and whatnot. Oh, and Among Us is getting a new map early next year that they highlighted at the Game Awards. The airship.
Very good. We go to the post office. You can ask us your questions every week. We will answer some of them on the show. This is going to be quick this week because we're already running long. Anthony asks, what kind of technological feats are you looking forward to for games on the next-gen systems? Well, hopefully ones that operate correctly and are in a playable state when released. Those are that's really all I'm looking for. That and that sweet ray tracing at 60 FPS.
You remember back in the day, the water effects were like the thing that proved that you knew how to make a game because your water looked good, as my friend Mark would say. I guess it's going to be lighting, and for me, accurate lighting and how lighting is rendered is very interesting to me, almost to the point where you would say I have made a career of it. And to see some of the ray tracing effects and how the light hits certain objects, I'm looking forward to how that plays on like real-time characters, right? Like I want to see like a character walk into a beam of light and how the light reflects off of the person's body and stuff like that. Like that'll be impressive for me. And for me, like I'm a sucker for open world games. I want to see dense open worlds. I don't want to see big open worlds. I want dense open worlds. If you were to make a world that is the same size as Los Santos and GTA 5, I want to go in every building. That's what I want to see. I don't and I want verticality. I don't need wide. You can do wide, and then there are a lot of tricks that you can do with wide, areas. I want dense populaces and verticality.
Very good. Eric says, after stealing the latest PS5s, a la Dominic Toretto and VCRs, what is your ideal getaway car? I'm not a car guy. I don't like cars don't do anything for me. They are a mode of transport and a tool. Nothing more or less.
Yeah.
For me, so
a PT Cruiser, thank you.
No. Get out of here. I am not a car guy, but the PT Cruiser is not a car. It is the Hunchback of Notre Dame of cars. And I was in a Geostorm for a long time. That's all I just need a car to go from one place to another.
PT Cruiser was my first car.
Oh, gross.
Look, a PT Cruiser is ugly on the outside, but I will say for a tall man and a big man, one of the most spacious interiors.
Really?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law used to have one, and I did not mind driving it because it was very.
That's why I ended up with one, because my dad, who's like 6'4", he bought one because of how spacious the interior is, basically.
Wow.
And then I ended up with it. So
wow.
Yeah.
Said Kia Soul, my current car, same way. People like, it's the hamster mobile. Like, it is, but it's roomy as shit, and I'm very comfortable driving it.
Yeah, you see how big those fucking hamsters are? Like, they got elbow room, man.
Leonardo asks, Carrie,
yes.
Was there a piece of video game music you wanted the BGSO to play, but it got left out? Is there a song in the playlist that isn't your favorite?
In so much that, is there a song that we have played that I didn't like playing? Last November, so like November 2019 was our sort of like villains themed show, and we performed a piece from World of Warcraft, which was Wrath of the Lich King. And it is 9.5 minutes long, and I did not fucking enjoy playing it at all. It kind of drones on. There's a lot of like atmospheric stuff. We performed it. You can go to our fucking YouTube channel and listen to it. It's good, but like I think we only played it because our conductor Tad really wanted to fucking do it because he's a big Warcraft guy, and so he subjected all of us to 9.5 minutes of Wrath of the Lich King.
Can I make a suggestion, which I'm sorry to do to you because it's probably at least a medium difficult arrangement? You guys should do the main theme from Dragon Age Inquisition because it's really good.
Oh, I don't think that's that difficult.
No.
I think that's something like I would love to do the main theme from Dragon Age Inquisition. It's mostly a matter of fitting it within one of our planned themes.
Yeah.
As far as something that I wanted to do but got left out, same show, the villain show, we attempted, and in so much that we attempted it got rehearsed once, and it was just sort of too late in the season. The other arranger for the orchestra, Jacob, did like a Metroid boss medley. And so it was like Kraid's theme and Ridley's theme and something else. And like we tried it once and it was like, this is not going to happen with our level of musicianship. At this point in the season, it got introduced really late and it was like, we don't have enough time to rehearse this. But like Ridley's theme is difficult. Ridley's theme starts off in 5/4 and it's a quick 5/4. It's like dun 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 dun, and that's hard for a lot of musicians to play in 5/4 to begin with, but to play 5/4 at like 170 beats per minute kind of clip, it's hard, and like it changes time signatures a few times, and it was just like, this is not going to work. Like it's not. On the percussion end especially, we didn't have people with the necessary skill level to pull that off, and so it was like, much as Ridley's theme fucking rips, it just like it wasn't gonna happen. As far as stuff that we did that has been left offline, at same show, I actually sang Ashley's theme from WarioWare. It was the first time ever that I have sung in public, and there was some audio technical issues that led to it sounding really bad, with like just a lot of nasty feedback. So that's never going to see the light of day, and we'll see if I ever sing in public again.
I'm gonna end it with Amir, because Amir asks really the seminal question of our time that has to be debated and answered. Is the Cyberpunk launch worse than the Anthem launch?
I'm going to say no. And I'm going to say no, not having played either of those games. But just as a bystander, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say no, because if Cyberpunk works on the system you're playing it on, people seem to be enjoying it. I don't think anybody enjoyed Anthem.
Here's the thing. Anthem worked. People enjoyed Anthem. Obviously I can't speak for everyone. I enjoyed Anthem until I didn't. And I didn't, and I stopped enjoying it quickly. That's my issue. So I mean, it depends on what your priorities are in terms of getting a complete game out with minimal, collateral damage. Yeah, Anthem launched better. It just didn't have it kind of had to. No, it did have a marketing push behind it. That's why everyone was so pissed when they realized, like,
it did have a lot of technical issues though too.
Did it? I can't remember.
It did.
I remember. I the stuff that I remember wasn't like things that weren't playable. It was technical issues to the point of like, hey, this starter gun that I have is better than the legendary that dropped.
Well, and so that's where Anthem's launch was bad. So it was a combination. So a lot of their technical issues were server driven, which, since the game was a connected game, was going to lead to a lot of problems. Cyberpunk doesn't have that problem, obviously. And because Anthem was a shared world shooter, it had other balancing issues. Like Cyber, it's almost not fair to compare the two games because they are radically different from one another. Because shared, like, looter shooters have so many other things that they have to worry about in terms of weapon balance and balancing different types of weapons and making loot interesting and making the content scale with you and having interesting content and things of that nature that games that aren't always connected don't have to worry about. I'd say they were both rocky, but for different reasons. Both bad. Who was worse? Probably Anthem. But that's only because it did not have like if all the CDPR stands were not vociferously defending the company, I think it might be a different equation. But like everybody was mad at BioWare when Anthem came out, even people that liked BioWare.
Yeah.
Like I said,
but again, like that. I swear to God, dude. Like, just I don't know. If we're gonna be mad, like, let's just be mad at everybody that does something wrong. Whereas, to blindly, like you said, hand wave away it's a 10 out of 10. Look, I don't really give a fuck about scores, but like, this is why scores are fucked up. It's a 10 out of 10, which would imply that the game is perfect, but the game has bugs. Even though it has bugs, it's a 10 out of 10, right? Like, I've seen a review that says that. So I don't know. I'll be glad when all this Cyberpunk stuff is over. I'm enjoying the game. It doesn't sound like I'm enjoying it, but I'm enjoying the game. I just don't like the reason I can't talk more about it is because I don't want to spoil it for people, because there are things that happen that I don't want to spoil for people. So yeah, we'll
probably have more on that at some point down the road. We also need to have like an Assassin's Creed spoiler talk once you're done.
Yeah, I got to go back to it. They sent me an email saying, you haven't finished Assassin's Creed. I was like, God damn. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, all right, calm down. Jesus.
So, like, that's gonna be it for the post out this week because we're running long as is. But thank you guys very much for submitting questions. Again, don't forget to join our fan group at densepixels.com/fans. You
also,
too.
my concert is
tomorrow.
Tomorrow, as we're recording this, or today as you're listening to this.
Yeah,
the 16th, 8 p.m. Eastern. Head to facebook.com/Baltimore GSO or look up Baltimore GSO on YouTube. The link is live. I will be posting it everywhere, all day probably, because again, I worked really fucking hard on this show, and you better fucking watch it. So. Please support my hard work as an arranger and musician. Thank you.
As Micah would say, while you're on the internet, make sure you subscribe to all the other TNP Studio shows on whatever podcatcher you like to use the most. Don't forget to subscribe to us on youtube.com/DensPixels. And you can follow us on Twitch as well. I'm DensPixels Brad, Terrence Effort, and 410, and Carrie is Suffix. That is it for us this week. See y'all next time.
Thanks.
See you.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here, and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.